This is from the Gainesville Sun. Report: ex-Scientologist had evidence destroyed. From the Associated Press, June 22, 2009. Clearwater, Florida. A former high-ranking Scientology official who handled the case of a mentally ill member who died under church care. She actually didn't have a mental illness. I've never seen it documented. Ordered the destruction of incriminating evidence to cover up missteps, a newspaper reported. The ex-official and church defector, Marty Rathburn, I know we all have thoughts on him, and so do I, had for years insisted the church did nothing wrong, you know, the church, in handling the case of Lisa McPherson's death on December 5th, 1995. But he recently told the St. Petersburg Times the church botched the woman's case from the start. The church dismisses Rathburn. You know, there's no name, no nothing. It's always that inanimate object. Dismisses Rathburn as a bitter former member who inflated his importance. Where have we seen that? The church said he had been demoted in 2003. He left in 2004. He's back in it now. The blackmail they have on him must be really good. Rathburn said he initially wanted to go to the state attorney's office after the 36-year-old's death. But he instead followed the church's culture, the policies that nobody ever talks about, to never admit fault. It's in policies. He and others removed papers from McPherson's files. You know, the others that have no names. The others, you guys, the others. Removed papers from McPherson's files, including a caretaker's opinion that the situation was out of control and the patient needed a doctor. Listen to this great confession, you guys. That's sarcasm, by the way. I said, lose him, and walked out of the room. Rathburn told the newspaper. Is Rathburn actually openly admitting he had something to do with Lisa McPherson's death? Denying medical care? Just for starters. A wrongful death case was settled with McPherson's family in 2004 under undisclosed terms, and while investigations brought charges of criminal neglect and practicing medicine without a license, they were later dropped when a coroner changed the cause of death to an accident from undetermined. I believe the first the first cause of death was severe dehydration and malnutrition. Maybe the Gainesville Sun needs to go back and get the real facts. And please go check out the coroner that was the original on that case. And then she wound up dying shortly thereafter. I think there was a lot going on there. State Attorney Bernie McCabe, you know, we can trust that, said destruction of evidence charges would have had to be brought within 3 years of the crime. See how they're snaking out of it? So I guess fuck Lisa McPherson, right? Fuck her. Within 3 years of the crime, and that the investigation into McPherson's death was over. Huh. Where have we heard that one before, you guys? The whole thing was done wrong, Rathburn told the newspaper. Can't tell you what a technical crime this was. A technical crime, you guys. A technical crime. Imagine the same people that were involved, in my opinion, of covering up the wrongful death of Lisa McPherson, coming out and allegedly speaking out about Scientology covering it up. I mean, my father would have said the audacity. Evil. Church spokesman Tommy Davis, I believe Tommy Davis basically took over Rinder's role, said he couldn't specifically comment on many of Rathburn's claims because of the settlement. Weird. What he's been saying, there's so many lies. You can't believe anything at this point. Because he's been lying so much, Davis said. Wow, that's a well thought of response. Deep. Like when something's demonstrably false. McPherson joined Scientology at 18. Not 17, you guys. Not 16. 18. You know their magic number is 19, right? Be good to look into that and see if she actually joined, if she was younger. McPherson joined Scientology at 18 in her hometown of Dallas and moved to the church's spiritual headquarters in Clearwater. That would be easy to check if someone could find Lisa McPherson's birth date. Wouldn't that be interesting, you guys? On November 18th, 1995, she was involved in a traffic accident and soon became frantic, psychotic. I thought that she was psychotic, openly psychotic. According to the newspaper's report, the newspaper with no name, stripping off her clothes and walking along the street. The part they forgot to say is she was saying, "Please help me." Of course, that's left out. She was taken to the hospital where doctors discussed having her committed for psychiatric evaluation. But Scientology opposes psychiatry and psychiatric drugs. According to the Times, about 10 church members, the ones with no names, went to get her because, they might be actually charged as accomplices, right? And she signed out against a doctor's advice. She was brought to the church's Fort Harrison Hotel. I want to jump in here, you guys. I'm still reading Jesse Prince's book. I feel it's a very good book. And I feel Jesse Prince was very respectful. I really do. And yes, I think some of these executives probably knew the abuses that the children were going through. And I'm not saying Jesse did. He probably did. I'm just saying he probably did. But they're in the machine. They're in the machine. Not that it's okay to not do anything with child abuse, but going up against a multi-billion-dollar corporation is not exactly easy. According to the Times, about 10 unnamed church members, the accomplices, went to get her, and she signed out against a doctor's advice. She was brought to the church's Fort Harrison Hotel. Would you guys love to know what the doctor's name was? You guys know what they probably put that doctor through. For 17 days, McPherson was kept in a room. It's called isolation. I think Lisa was put through what they call the introspection rundown. Because, the ignoramus idiocracy that is supposed to solve psychosis. Apparently it didn't work for L. Ron Hubbard. And there's a lot that went on with Hubbard as well. For 17 days, McPherson was kept in a room where church officials, the ones with no names, tried to calm, feed, and medicate her. They didn't try to medicate her. They don't believe in medicine. From all the evidence that I've gathered and all of the things that I have read about Lisa McPherson, she was in such a horrible state. She didn't want to drink water or eat. And probably it could have been, I'm just guessing, could have been like really serious paranoia. Because when you're psychotic, you're hallucinating. You might have visual hallucinations, auditory. It's horrible. She was brought to the church's Fort Harrison Hotel. For 17 days, McPherson was kept in a room where church officials, again, the ones with no names, isn't it Davy's fault? I thought everything was Davy's fault, you guys. Tried to calm, feed, and medicate her, keeping logs of what transpired. How much you guys bet those logs have disappeared now, right? Otherwise known as destroying evidence of a crime. She slapped and screamed at the caretakers. Why don't you just call them what they are? They were handlers. And all of them, I don't care how under duress they were, all of them should serve prison time. All of them. She slapped and screamed at the caretakers, babbled and vomited. The newspaper reported, the unnamed newspaper. Those are the handlers. I want to know if she was married as well. I'm going to look into that. As she spiraled downward, that's usually what happens with untreated psychosis, especially when you're not getting enough nutrition. Not drinking water alone can cause psychosis. As she spiraled downward and lost about 12 pounds, a church doctor, again, the church doctor that was not named here, who was unlicensed, another law broken right there, in Florida phoned David Minkoff, a fellow Scientologist who was a licensed doctor in the state. Minkoff said McPherson should be taken to a hospital down the street. Don't you guys like the real story? Wouldn't you guys love the real story? They don't believe in that. It's got to be Scientology. Imagine the suffering this poor woman went through. The Scientologists feared McPherson would be exposed to psychiatric care there. I think it's more about cover-up as well. She had scratches all over her. And drove 45 minutes to a hospital where Minkoff was working. Minkoff pronounced her dead upon arrival because she was dead in the car. Isn't this horrible? It's so horrible. It's so horrible. Other revelations, and notice Marty Rathburn didn't reveal anything. Other revelations, this should be good, in the newspapers, the one with no name. 3-part series revealed that McPherson had achieved clear status. She was an OT8. And what nobody's mentioning is that she was, I believe at OT8 they do a lot of self-auditing, and they got to try to get rid of so many body thetans. Someone else correct me if I'm wrong. Clear status, a designation that means they are free of painful trauma and unwanted feelings. Because Scientology just give you more trauma. Trauma-based mind control. Just weeks before her mental breakdown and death. The designation comes through auditing. Scientology's trademark counseling sessions. Yeah, the ones that children run. Of course, that's not mentioned. Children are the ones bringing in all the money for Scientology. Of course, this newspaper didn't say that, did they? The newspaper earlier reported that the leader of the Church of Scientology, David Miscavige, oh, this should be great, you guys, struck his subordinates numerous times. Don't you guys wonder what the fuck that has to do with Lisa McPherson dying? Can't take a hit? One thing I can give Jesse Prince credit for, he wasn't messing around with those fools. He was a black belt karate. The church denied the allegations. They always do. Deny. Saying they are lies in an effort to tarnish Miscavige. Aww. Who has led the church for more than 2 decades. Aww. And Davey does it all by himself. Davey runs the church all by himself, everyone. So, of course, we have no grammar, no conclusive sentences, no introductory. I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.